Hello, everyone. We are live here at Gencon. I'm Patrick.
I'm Padre.
And today we are interviewing the general manager, Mr. John Matthews of Galeforce 9. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
I mean, it's Gencon. We're finally back. We have so many questions for you because it's a huge event. But, first question, what do you do as a general manager for a gaming company?
Well, I normally answer this one quite flippantly, is I manage generally. What I really do is I coordinate between the studio, the sales forces, the manufacturing, everything like that to try and get our product into market.
Oh, so you're not busy at all then?
Sometimes not, but mostly it feels like I'm running around like a clown car, but that's how I most probably manage.
So COVID's been fun for you then?
Yes. Suez canals, COVID, shutdowns of warehouses, things that in some ways training cannot prepare you for.
Yeah. Now here's another question we had for you. How long have you actually been in the gaming industry?
I opened my own shop back in 93. So, what would that be? 28 years now, something like that. Yeah.
And you know, it's funny because like guys like us, we look back at 93 and we're like, well, that's really not that long ago.
Half my life, yeah.
Almost 20 years ago. No, 30 years ago.
Yeah, almost your age.
That's how math works.
Yeah, so quick, brief history there. I opened my own game store. I then went to work at Workshop for a while. I got imported from the UK over to America to run trade sales for them. 2006 went over to join Battlefront, went and lived in New Zealand for 3 years, came back to America in 2009.
Okay,
wow.
so you've been around for a while.
Yes.
And you're enjoying working for Galeforce 9 and Battlefront?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
I have to say that, otherwise they'd stop paying me.
Well, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
Next biggest question. It's Gen Con, obviously. Everyone loves to bring out the goods. What goods or what are you promoting today?
With the two parts of our business, we have the 15mm wargaming side with obviously World War II and World War III and World of Tanks. World of Tanks is sort of the bridge between the two. It's a board game and a miniatures game.
Yeah.
So we've got World of Tanks here, which has been going remarkably well. I have to say I've been surprised how well that's our second bestseller here at the moment. With Gencon being much more a sort of board game themed event, we promote mostly our Galeforce 9 side, which is the board games. And this particular, the three major releases we've got are Dune, Conquest and Diplomacy, which is the modern version of the classic game. The classic game is still out there, it's still great, and it'll still be supported. In fact, it has a new expansion coming out early next year. And I'm going to ruin these words. It's Chome and Rikpazi. I hope I've said that close enough that people will understand it. This game is sleeker, quicker, 2 to 4 players. It's got a 2-player ability that the main classic game hasn't, and also it's movie orientated.
Okay.
Then we have a game called Resistance.
Yep.
Written by the chap who wrote Resistance, called Betrayal, which is a very similar mechanic to Resistance, but in the Dune world.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the other one is we have updated the D&D game Tyrants of the Underdark.
Okay.
So we've included in the expansion of Aberrations, that comes in there, so you now get all 6 half decks for it. We've gone away from the plastic miniatures and gone with card counters, which now brings it back down into a much more friendly price point of $50. So those are
you can't beat those prices.
No,
you can't.
Absolutely not.
No, not at all.
So there, and of course the rest we have is our traditional game, Spartacus,
which is
Dragons.
Fantastic.
I love Spartacus. Yeah.
Oh, we played it
2 or 3 times at least when we unboxed it.
And
it was absolutely amazing.
It was just great. Right out of the box, we were able to get right in it and start stabbing each other in the back. It was fantastic.
All right. So now that you have World of Tanks, Dune, Spartacus, Aliens, Doctor Who,
the list
those
goes
games
on.
are in development. Is there anything that you could talk about that might be in the future for Galeforce 9?
Yeah, that is tricky. There is lots that I would like to be able to talk about, and it all comes down to one thing. That is approval by the licensee. So we were hoping for a couple of reveals about this time, but one of them was CBS. They have not come back to us yet with the it's signed off. So we have to keep stum.
Okay.
All I can say is we know the market that we have, the license we have are strong, and there is still plenty to do with those IPs. And I think some of them will absolutely delight people when they see what we've done with it, with figures and things like this. And I wish I didn't have to be so cryptic.
We understand.
We understand, 100%.
That's good. But with ones I can talk about is, so for Star Trek is Breen and Dominion are coming.
Okay.
The Dominion works as a, I'm going to say, faction and an AI. The Breen is like a faction on its own.
We're big fans
Very
of AI.
exciting.
We love AI. Anything to get us practicing the game more before we get our butts kicked on an actual table.
Yes, that is true.
So, well, I'm going to follow that up with, I mean, when you get a license from another company, like once that's done, you've given your pitch, like what's the next biggest hurdle that you guys have to face once you get what you need?
Our one is trying to be true to the IP that we've got. So I'm not a games designer, I don't do that sort of thing. But what I do know is our premise is we want you to feel like you are in the IP that we have. So it's not just a skin. We like it with Firefly, for example. You're living episodes. You're doing what they do. You're misbehaving. You're doing that sort of thing. Same thing with Star Trek, etc., etc. That's our biggest compliment we always get is, I feel like I am in there. I understand the IP. It's not just, I've skinned this over here and brought it in. It is what the show is about.
Well, you guys have, in every game that we've played,
Yeah.
and we have played many of your games, that feeling of immersion into the story, even in World of Tanks,
Yep.
which you're thinking it's just a slugfest. No, because you start saying, you bloody German, I can't believe you did that. Oh, die, America. You get into it,
Yep.
and it's so much fun, and you're done in anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. And then it's just like, let's do it again.
Yep.
You know, you guys really, really do nail that nail. You're pounding that nail right on the head, and that's across your line. And I don't know how you manage to do that, because that's a rare treat in any game like.
It all comes down to people who care, spend an awful lot of time clicking through single shots of the series. Mm-hmm. So some of the bits that we are looking at that I can't speak about, but literally the top man, the top owner, Pete, has bought the whole series. He watches it all, and then he goes through literally scene by scene, going, I like that. Yet they're making notes down to it to feed, and also the writers do the same.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it really helps if they like the series.
Yeah.
And some of it is a little bit of labour of love, but once you sort of get into it and you know what you're doing, it's a whole different way of watching something, because you're not looking for maybe the whole thing, you're looking for the sub-story.
Yeah.
But when you watch them doing it, and they literally write down the time, and they go, right, catalogue that, because that's an image that we will use later.
Right.
And you literally sort of go to the assets file and you go click, 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 click. All of these become the cards and everything like that. But it is an absolute labour of love. I could not do it.
Yeah, just what they had to do with like Aliens. You know, perfect.
Yeah.
I've never played a game that I've enjoyed losing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, we got our butts kicked in like turn 3. It was fun. We got our butts kicked in like turn 6. It was fun.
Good.
We got our butts kicked. We have lost that game more than we have won it, and we always go back to it because it is such an immersive, wonderful game that
Cool.
you guys managed
Well,
to pull
thank you.
up.
I'll pass that along as well.
Oh,
Please
yes,
do.
Please.
Now, speaking of like Aliens, you got multiple games that that have room for expansions. Any plans for like Aliens to get an expansion in the future, or anything else?
With Aliens, I think that has been a common question here is, with us, we got in our last reprint and we sold it all out into distribution.
Okay.
So it's all out there. Now we have to catalogue when we're going to do a new print, and that's all China and everything like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So on Aliens, no, we don't have any that I know of expansions planned, because it would be better to get the main game back in and do that sort of thing.
Right.
So on that one I don't have any news that I can say there.
And that's really good when you can say, yeah, we sold out.
Yeah, absolutely. However,
That tells you a lot.
Is you do get people here who've come to the show going, oh, I hoped you'd had Aliens.
Yeah.
Go to local gaming stores, Amazon, eBay, wherever you want.
Right.
There are still plenty out there.
Okay. There are a lot of other companies with the same problem. They're like, do we do reprints or do we start doing new things? Because
Absolutely.
right now it's pick or choose. It's not, we can do both.
And it isn't as simple as that either. With everything going on in the COVID world, the factories that make these games are now, well, in some ways chock-a-block, because they're not doing the print runs in, say, 3 weeks. They're taking 5.
Ugh.
Well, that means that when you were looking for your slot, 2 weeks has been taken up that they did used to have.
Yeah.
So it sort of compounds out.
Right.
And you go, yeah, so maybe they were doing, I'm making it up, 12 items. They might only do 9 now. And of course, if you're trying to get your slot, is there? So any of you out there wanting to open a games factory, that's the one to go for at the moment.
Please
We
open more
could
games
definitely use
factories.
it.
Yes, please.
Now, another question we had was about organized play.
Yes.
You have one game out there, World of Tanks, that is screaming
Yep.
to be organized play.
And again, I know this is sounding a bit repetitive, but COVID was the one. World of Tanks is a hobby, but it misses in some ways two of the vital things of hobby, which is putting together models and painting them. Because they come pre-made and painted, you need to have that gaming element. And because stores were closed, the organised play that we had planned wasn't any point bringing it out. So Pete especially is, what do we need to do for the OP kits and the organised and competitive play aspect. So more to come on that. Absolutely.
So it's still on the horizon.
Yes.
You're definitely not saying no.
No.
Okay.
Far from it.
That's all we needed to hear.
we're not worthy. We're very thrilled to hear that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We love playing the standard shoot 'em up, but we love scenarios,
Yeah.
campaigns, and objectives and stuff like that. So it's even more fun. That way, if you go to a tournament, those are options that are going to be available for organized
Agreed.
play.
Yeah.
So just the mere fact that you're saying we had something planned, COVID, I mean, everyone understands COVID, of course, but I mean, the fact that it's there and it's just, we got to wait, I can wait.
Well, I think it really is the stores are starting to reopen now properly.
Yep.
Gaming starting, I mean, this is a prime
Yeah.
example.
There's a big.
Is if this goes down well, and actually by the caution, the precautions that Gencon's taken,
Yep.
this doesn't, turn into something that it would be quite nasty, then you can start getting faith that vaccines are working, masks, everything there, where you then say now stores will be more open to having people in, organising it, still being very cautious, I get that. But I think that's on the horizon now.
Amazing. All right, so now we're gonna throw some razzing out there because we would love to know.
These are the hardball questions.
Now we're gonna hardball questions. What's your favorite Galeforce 9?
That is a tricky one.
Game.
If it's a board game, I would be a diplomacy man.
Diplomacy.
I'm old, and I absolutely love it that there isn't a luck mechanic.
Okay.
It literally is how well I can convince you to be my ally before I stab you in the back. Which
Exactly.
in my case is pretty much, I know I'm going to stab you in the back, so nobody ever allies with me, quite sensibly. If it's a wargamer, I am a Warhammer man at heart.
Warhammer,
Really?
okay.
Absolutely. Is again, you know, I know quite a few of the guys here. I was in there for a long time, and I like undead. Maybe it's because I'm so old and I'm thinking I'm getting there, who knows. But I've always been drawn to that sort of macabre side, and it fits my gaming style.
Yep.
Excellent.
AOS, the new version, I'm a bit of an amateur at that. I will get my ass kicked quite quickly on there. So, yeah, old Warhammer is my old favourite.
We're amateurs at all the games. It's okay.
Speak for yourself. I've been doing good with War and Sea this weekend.
Wow, cool. All right.
And now we'll give you the easier of the two. What is your very favorite Battlefront Galeforce 9 game?
Spartacus.
I knew it. When he said stab in the back.
Stab in the back. I knew it. This part
It
is
is the best game, in my opinion, that we've put. Everything works about it. Maybe it's saying too much of me, but there is something about being able to play as mean and as dirty as you possibly can be.
Yeah.
And it just makes the game better.
Yeah.
However, I would always be cautious. That is a friend killer as well, so you have to be very aware that you're telling people, look, it was just in the game, I still love you.
His objective is I don't win. As long as I don't win, then he wins.
Yep,
Yeah.
there is that.
Yeah.
I tend to play, my wife is a superb Spartacus player, so we will be playing on quite a lot because we've played so long that we know when the danger comes is, no, you can close out in 5 points. I will play the dirty card, which is, darling, if you let me do this, we could go to bed. And, at 4 a.m. in the morning, I normally win that way. What she should do is the same back to me, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, look, you win this time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, Spartacus is my number one.
Yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed that one. Like I say, we took it right out of the box, got into the directions, and we were just realizing you can make an ally, but then completely hose them over at the same
absolutely.
time.
As
Here,
you should,
you
as
pay,
it was done in the show.
pay for this for me, okay, and I'll be your buddy.
Gain some trust and then stab him in the back.
Yep,
Yeah.
So now we're going to give you opportunity to say anything you want to everybody who's watching, about gaming in general or about, hold tight with us or whatever. This would be like your chance. Talk about whatever you want about Battlefront, Galeforce 9, or anything.
Mine on this is always quite simple. Is I am a huge proponent of dance with the one who brung you. If you play Malifaux, buy their stuff. Mm-hmm. You play Flames of War, buy our stuff. Play Games Workshop, buy their stuff. And then I will always ask people, support your local game store. It is incredibly difficult out there, and you only have to see the cars that they are driving. They are not driving around in Lamborghinis. So I would always ask is spend the extra $1, whatever it is, and support your local game store. And if you want your favorite game company to be around, support them as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, John. This is
My
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go ahead, leave comments below of what you're excited about, if you came to Gencon, what you did here, and especially if you played some Galeforce 9 games and what you bought. Thank you again, John.
Thank you, and
immense
thank you
pleasure.
for listening.
Yeah. All right.
And that's all we got. So see ya.
Later.
Bye.